Oh, things are starting to heat up in North London. Things are heating up in North London. Arsenal. Hey, all you people, I did a video and you people were saying, why don't you speak on Arsenal's real transfer links? So Noni is a real transfer link. You guys thought Noni was a joke. Noni is not a joke. Noni Madueke is in discussions with Arsenal. He's agreed personal terms. And also, Arsenal are in club-to-club talks for 50 million or whatever it is. Already submitted a bid. So guys, I need an apology. I need an apology for all them people who said I'm trying to clickbait or rage bait or whatever you guys say these days. Arsenal fans. There we go. Please, I need my apology. Just be humble. Have humility. But anyway, Spurs though. It's North London's got it's popping. Kudus is looking finalized. Morgan Gibbs White links, which is insane. And Wissa. Listen, what did we just say there? 4 names. And do you know what they all are? Premier League players. I'm telling you, man, that's the motive this summer. Prem signings, and teams are understanding it. Thomas Frank's understanding it. Arsenal are understanding it. It's the motto this year. Premier League signings. Okay, if you want to get the odd guy out of the Prem, of course it's going to happen, like Florian Wirtz, Frimpong. But Premier League signings, man. Premier League signings, everyone's made one. Cunha, Nori, Kirkes, Norgard, Kepa, you know, João Pedro, Liam Delap, bro. You can go on and on. Premier League signings is where it's at the moment. Newcastle even signing Alanga. This is the Premier League I used to know. The big teams snatching from the little ones. Now that sounds like I'm that sounds like I'm an elitist or something, right? But in football, sometimes I kind of am. Listen, you go and you pinch from the port. Nah, I'm joking. But nah, listen. You go and you get the best of the rest. I always say the best of the rest. There's players out there in the league that can improve these teams these days. Now, back in the day, maybe you had to be at a very high level to get into these players. You look at Carlos Tevez's, you look at Michael Carrick's, you look at Andy Cole's, all these type of players, right? Rio Ferdinand, Wayne Rooney, they were like top draw. Like, it's like, what are they doing at that football club? Now, maybe this... The gap between the smaller teams and the big teams now has closed a little bit. Like, the big teams have gotten worse a little bit and the smaller teams have gotten better. So it's a bit, you know what I mean? So now you've got a lot of players that can play for Wolves, that can play for West Ham, that can play for Brighton, that can play for Fulham, all these type of teams that would walk into big 6 teams with their eyes closed, blindfolded, moonwalking. So that needs to be explored, because not only are you weakening your potential hiccup teams, you're strengthening yourselves and you're bolstering your squad, and you're going to start challenging for things. You're also getting players that make instant impact. You're getting players that don't need to wait, that don't need to develop, that don't need to you get them and they know what to handle. They know the physicality, they know the tempo, they know the aggressive, they know everything about the league. They know their way around. They've been to Molineux, they've been to Old Trafford, they've been to St. James. They know these stadiums, they know it's nothing new. That's what you want. That's what you want. And listen, Tottenham doing them signings is super. Like, listen, I'm looking at that Spurs team and I'm thinking, whoa, all of a sudden they can have the depth of Solanke and Wissa, Kulusevski and Kudus, Maddison and Morgan Gibbs White. Then you've got Odegaard, Tell and Brennan Johnson as options. They still got Son. They still got Richarlison, which I think maybe they should look to move those two on. But all of a sudden you're looking and you're like, wow, that's some really good attacking depth. That's a really good attacking team. That's a team that finished 17th place and they ain't trying to stay there. That's a team that know they played way below their standard and they need to raise it. And they're being aggressive about it. There's talks that the Morgan Gibbs White deal, they're already in club-to-club talks. He would be happy to join, apparently. Wissa, I think that'll be a good signing. As much as there's been talk about Mbeumo, we can't forget Wissa also scored 19 goals last season. 19 in the Premier League. So that's somebody that, if you can say Mbeumo's done it, that's somebody that's done it. You know? Goal scorer. In fact, the season before that, he scored more goals than Mbeumo. Mbeumo scored 9 and he scored 12. So Wissa is a goal scorer in this league. So for me, that's a fantastic signing. You've got Solanke, who's a goal scorer in this league. Did it work out as much last season? Maybe not so much, but I think Solanke's a good player. He does a lot of good work outside of scoring, and also think that he can score goals. Spurs were just not on it last season. You know what I mean? And then you look at Kudus, which I think is a fantastic signing, especially when you consider that Thomas Frank plays different systems. In the big game, he plays 3 at the back. You've got a very versatile player in Kudus who can play centre mid, 10, left wing, right wing. He's a very, very versatile player. So I think that's a brilliant signing for when you want to switch formations. And of course, to even be a starter. I think Kudus is fantastic. I think a lot of people are dropping off him after last season, but I wouldn't. 18 goals in his first season at West Ham. Last season for West Ham was absolutely disastrous. But if I was Spurs, I'll be happy with this signing. I think Kudus is a brilliant player. The dribbling ability, ball carrying. And then when you think that Spurs could potentially be lining up with these signings, Morgan Gibbs-White, Kulusevski, and Kudus, that ball carrying ability is off the chain. That ball carrying ability is insane. That power running is insane. Behind a Wissa, behind a Solanke. That is, for me, some good signings. So Spurs are starting to make noise. They have to get active in the market because, listen, they can't do what they did, not last season. They cannot repeat last season, sorry. Yes, they won the Europa League, but they cannot repeat last season. They got to be aggressive. You know what I mean? I'm not going to talk about my football club right now because if we're talking about aggressive, that is the complete opposite word of what we're doing. But then you look at Noni. Now, I spoke about Noni. I said make Arsenal black again. That went super viral. You guys are mad people. That went viral. But Noni is an interesting one. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the Noni one. Now, people are saying depth. Now, I feel like Arsenal, if Arsenal are going to continue and try and sign an Eze and try and go for Rodrigo if he's available, and they're in talks with Gyökeres, then okay, you can start looking at and thinking, all right, Noni can fill in on the left side. I don't know where this notion is that he's going to come and be Arsenal's left winger. Now, if they come and do that, I think that's a poor signing. If Noni becomes Arsenal's starting left winger, I think that's a poor signing. I don't personally think he's that good on the left-hand side, and I don't think that's where he even wants to play. He wants to be on the right-hand side, cutting in, taking shots. That's what Noni wants to do. That is Noni's game, right? So for him, it's interesting because you could potentially go and be a rotation piece when maybe you could have went to another club and be a starter. But for Arsenal, okay, you see it as a bit of depth. My only thing is I've never seen Arsenal spend 50+ million on a player and not be a starter. Like, that's Man City stuff. You know, that's Man City business. Sign a player for that, put him on a Nico Gonzalez, sign him up, but Calvin Phillips, it don't matter. You know, you don't really see Arsenal with that luxury, but there's a lot of reports that Arsenal have a lot of money to spend, up to 300 million this summer. So maybe they will do it. And maybe Noni is going to be a squad option with Eze's, with Gyökeres. But that Eze news has gone a bit quiet. Let's be honest. The Eze news has gone quiet since Madueke. Are they working on 2 separate deals? Who knows? Are they trying to do it one step at a time? We're going to find out. But it has gone quiet. It has gone quiet since the signing of Eze. Since the interest in Noni Madueke. So let's see. Gyökeres has gone a little bit quiet. I saw a report today again that said that Arsenal are growing frustrated about it. So the transfer window is always changing. my cover on here doesn't have Morgan Gibbs-White, the title thumbnail, because I already had the thumbnail ready, and then this Morgan Gibbs-White news just goes and drops. So let's go and see. Let's see what happens with that. I think it's I think all 3 signings are fantastic for Spurs. All 3 signings, and Arsenal, the jury's out for that one. But the signings of Kudus, Kudus, Morgan Gibbs-White, and Wissa, for me, is brilliant for Spurs. It's brilliant. It's brilliant, and it's what they need to climb up the table. And I think they're going to be a much better team this season than last season. Thomas Frank actually prides himself on defense as well. He likes to defend. He likes to get balls directly into the box. He likes to get the ball out wide. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be a lot different Spurs that we're used to. But I don't think that's for a bad reason. They finished 17th. Get aggressive. If you finish in this level of the Premier League, that low, get aggressive. Be hungry. Sell players, buy players. I think that's what Spurs are now gearing up to do. So Well done to them. Let's see if it goes through. It's not obviously nothing's done right now, but let's see if it goes through. Arsenal on the other side. Rodrigo links is still brewing. He wants to stay apparently, which is crazy. Not crazy to me, but no starts in 5 Club World Cup games. It's crazy. Somebody he didn't even get on the pitch. So listen, it's gonna be fun to see. But as I said a video about a year ago. I was talking about this stuff like on FCM. Premier League signings, and all of a sudden, honestly, it feels like it's become the motto. The big top teams are taken from the smaller teams, and it's going to create, I think, push more for like a big six. It is not big, but I think there's going to start becoming a bigger divide if it continues that way. One sign that made me, I was like, wow, is Adingra left to go to Sunderland. But yeah, man, the transfer window is doing what the transfer window does. You know what I mean? We'll wait for more concrete links, and we'll speak about it, of course. But the transfer window keeps moving, guys. Just wanted to give you a little update on my thoughts on them signings. I'm thinking, I'm not gonna lie, Maddison's in trouble. I'm not gonna lie, Maddison for me is in trouble. If I see Morgan Gibbs-White walk into that club, Maddison, you might be in trouble. Like, because when I'm thinking about that, listen, that power of Gibbs-White running with the ball, Kulu and Kudus. Hey, that's nice. Maddison, of course, for me, probably has the most quality of the three. Probably has the most quality, but that physicality side is never, you can't sleep on that, man. This is why Jose's moved away from Matters and stuff. This can easily happen. I wasn't too impressed with Maddison last season, but he had injuries as well. So, hey, but that's not what it's all about. It's about creating competition. Maddison's in a comfortable position where he knows that's his role. When you get comfortable, it's a dangerous thing. So now, with these type of signings, it's going to kick them up the backside. And the only thing that, for me, is a bit different with the Noni thing is that Saka's right wing is like Kane's striker. You ain't playing, bro. If he's fit, you ain't playing. So that's the one which I'm kind of still scratching my head. I don't really understand it. But big clubs need as big squads, but big clubs need depth. You know what I mean? You can't always just have your starting 11. That's a very Man United way of thinking. Oh, but if he comes, who's going to play? Hey, it's a long season. You could be playing potentially 60-something games. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe, turn notifications on. Let me know what you think about the signings potentially of Wissa, Kudus, and Morgan Gibbs-White to Spurs. And then you're looking at Noni Madueke to Arsenal, which I'm seeing. By the way, quickly, sorry, before I finish this video, all the people, right, that are doing this no to Madueke hashtag, that's corny, bro. That's corny for me. Like, that's corny. Like, you can voice your opinion, but this whole no to Madueke, because you know what's going to happen when he signs for the club? You guys are going to celebrate. You guys are going to celebrate if he scores. You guys are going to get up off your feet when he goes past the player. You're going to have to support him. I remember how all these people are talking about Kai Havertz, and now that's their striker. They like him. They liked him when he was going on goal scoring form. Like, I hear it. You can voice your opinion. Oh, we don't want him to sign right now, blah, blah, blah. No one's saying you shouldn't, but this whole no, it's a bit sinister. It's a little bit slimy. I don't like it, personally. That's just my opinion on it. I don't like it. You know what I mean? And I was seeing a lot of people talking about they're gonna, like, after the bad news that we had earlier in the week with the Jota thing, I saw people saying, we gotta treat footballers like humans. We gotta stop being so, critical or blah blah blah. But criticizing their game, that's perfectly fine. But I saw people trying to encourage bullying him in his DMs. Let's treat footballers like humans, man. Let's treat footballers like humans. Let's not do all of that. You know what I mean? Like, that's just my opinion. Going into his DMs, no to Madueke, abusing him, and come on, man. It's all banter and stuff, but let's keep it classy, people, man. Let's keep it classy. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think about the signing of Noni Madueke to Arsenal. Let me know what you think about the Spurs signings. It's your boy CultureCams. Sunny day, man. I'm gonna go enjoy it. I'm out. Peace.